Welcome back, everybody, to A Life of Hobbies. I'm so glad you could join me. It's a Twofer Tuesday, and I've got a pair of pre-release. One from the latest Edge of Eternities, and the other from the recent Aetherdrift. Now, if you're wondering why the Aetherdrift, because vehicles. There's synergy between these sets, and it happens to do a lot with the artifacts and vehicles between the two. So we're going to check out the pre-release kits for Edge of Eternities and Aetherdrift. Now, while you guys are enjoying this video, I am on my way, or am at, Indianapolis for the final home game of the regular season. The Fever have clinched their seat in the playoffs, and I get to watch them take on the Lynx for the final time here in the regular season. Now, the Lynx took both of the last two games, and it wasn't too bad, it wasn't that bad. But their third and final appearance here in Indy is happening today. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'm going to have a whole bunch of highlights and raw video from both this past weekend with Chicago and also coming up here with the Lynx. Check out my new sub channel. It's A Life of Hobbies, the Fever Fanatic. There's a link below. Check it out. Subscribe. I'm going to put all of my Indiana Fever and game videos and highlights and all that. I'm going to put that on that separate channel. As much as it has been a huge draw here on this channel, I think having that on its own separate channel is probably the better course of action to go with that. Because this one's really, it's mostly about, the cards. We do a little bit of side stuff with the garden, and I don't know what else we might throw in there. I got random pictures and whatnot that I post up. So, but I don't think we got a winner for the contest. I don't know if anybody tried. Somebody commented on it. I don't know if they thought they were doing the right thing on there. So I'm off to the game by myself, and hopefully I can find two people when I get there who need tickets, and they get to join me in the front row of the second balcony. Alright, so thank you guys for any of you who did try to find the cards and figure out which episodes those were in. I do appreciate you making an effort on that. We'll have something else coming up for a giveaway here soon. I don't know, I am definitely going to see about going to the playoff games, if I can. That would be pretty awesome. They're playing best of 3 per round here, so see about getting tickets if I can. I actually took today off of work just so I could go really early and be one of the first in to try and get autographs. I got some great cards that I want to get signed by a bunch of different players, if it's possible. So the Edge of Eternities pre-release, we got the Cosmogoyf. Nice. That's a great pre-release card to get, the Cosmogoyf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 play boosters. We get the spin down and a nifty little storage box. Aetherdrift, what did we get? So we got Chandra's License and Caradora, Heart of Alacria. Alright. So 2 pretty good promo cards there. Of course, the max speed. And 6 packs. Oh, I like the colors on that one. Man, a little race flag. That's cool. So here we go. 6 packs of each. I'll take a sip of my milkshake. Chocolate milkshakes are the best. Add peanut butter, makes them even better. I think we'll open up with the Aetherdrift, because it works into... Oh, I forgot to grab a new trash bag. I just tossed the old one out. It was full to the brim. Just use the old grocery bags and hang them from the side of the table. There we go. Alright. Pack number 1. What is that? The Mimeoplasm. Revered One. Revered One. Ugh, gross. Could you imagine getting eaten by something like that? Bam. So there's our art card. Rare should be in the back. Starting out, we got Grim Javelineer, Hazard of the Dunes, big old worm, Nimble Thopterist, Artificer, Swiftwing Assailant, Kickoff Celebrations, Starting Column, Ether Jacket, Earth Rumbler, Rocky Roads, Ranger's Refueler. I got the full art Detention Chariot. Oh, missed it. Fearless Swashbuckler, a fish pirate. Thundering Broodwagon is the foil. And Blossoming Sands. Alright. Interesting to see what kind of deck it could have built out of this pre-release. Beast Rider Vanguard. Another Thopterist. Lotus Guard Disciple. Another Kickoff Celebrations. Spin Out. Burner Rocket. Walking Sarcophagus. Sheffet Archfiend. Autarch Mammoth. Canyon Vaulter. Burnout Bastronaut. This creature has double strike. Menace. A 1/1. Hey, there we go. I love this artwork. The Draconautics Engineer. This reminds me of the old Rat Rod stuff from oh god, what was that guy's name? Legend in the industry for sure, and I can't remember his name right now. Yeah, Flood the Engine. Yeah, let's put the foil over there. Thunderhead Gunner, Ripclaw Wrangler, Gibberic Omnivore, Spectral Interference. That's a nice little counterspell. Spot Cycle Scout, Light Wheel Enchantments, Enhancements, Velo Heartbike, Rover Blades, Hellish Sideswipe, Alacrian Armory, Sky Crash, and a Bulwark Ox. Like 35 cents. Skybox Fairy on the foil. And the foil planes. Oh, look at that. We got one of the gold auto art cards this time. Those are worth like an extra buck. I always thought the art cards were one of the weirdest things they ever added to the booster packs. I don't understand why they ever added them personally. Third kickoff celebrations and another spin out. I think I'd probably be building red, black, green out of this set. Out of what I pulled out of this box so far. Interface Ace. Burner Rocket. Country roads take me home. Gastel Raider. Rangers Ether Hive. And a Bloodghast. What else did we get? Nice. Burnout Gastronaut. Alright. Yeah, the foil's a Swiftwing Assailant. It's good artwork. That looks pretty cool in the foil. And another art card. Sita Barma, Masked Racer. Got Ripclaw Wrangler. Another Gibberic Omnivore. Not bad, 3-2 for 2. Another Spectral Interference. Another Scouter. End Rider Catalyzer. Another Ace. The Vishkar Raceway. Pit Automaton, Apocalypse Runner, Momentum Breaker, rare, Sky Serpent Seeker, and there's our rare. Sita Varma. Hey, how about that? What do you know? Surprise, surprise. With a Wreckage Wicker Folk and a Windscarred Crag. So there's our art card come to reality there. Alright, last pack. Yep, I would probably have played like red, black, green out of this setup with all the removal that was in here, for sure. Some decent cheap biggies. Leonin Surveyor, Crash and Burn, Stall Out, Wreckage Wickerfold, Gallant Strike, Dracosaur Auxiliary, Point the Way, Ether Siphon, and Van Wext, Verbose Host. Yeah, I could see that doing some fun. And a Burnout Astronaut. Not a bad last pack. And yeah, I definitely would have red, blue, green the hell out of this box. So that's the Aetherdrift pre-release. Let's see what Edge of Eternities has in store for us. Alright, starting out we got Cryologist, Auxiliary Boosters, Diplomatic Relations, Caveron Skywarden, Divert Disaster, Grabblade Heavy, Dockworker Drone, Servandum the Lucent, Codecracker Hound, Edge Rover, Dubious Delicacy, Halia, Guided by Light. 50 cents maybe. The All Faith Scroll, uncommon foil. Nice little mana rock. Plasma Bolt, Hull Carver, Mental Modulation, Lux Knight Breacher, Diplomatic Relations, Thawbringer, Thaumaton Torpedo, Full Bore, Bygone Colossus, Mechan Navigator. We got a breeding pool. Nice. And a biotech specialist. Not the first one of those I pulled. The breeding pool is pretty good. Intrepid Tenderfoot for the foil. What else we got here? Island. And Lander. Frontline War Rager, Insatiable Skittermaw, Starbreach Whale, Starport Security, Germinating Worm, Zealous Display, Wormwall Sweeper, Halia Ascendant Cadet, Felgrav Ship, Honor, Uthros Psionicist, Thrumming Hive Pool. I was hoping I'd find one of these. This is going in my sliver deck, obviously. Oh, yes. Oh, you guys have no idea. I'm so happy to actually pull this. Like, they're not expensive, by the way. So, but I'm glad I pulled one. It would have been cool if we got it in a foil, though. That would have been really cool. But a Thrumming Hive Pool. Yes, that is going in my sliver deck for sure. And we got a foil land as well. Wonder if we'll get a Galaxy foil land in here. That'd be kind of nice. Banishing Light. Fungal Colossus. Oreplate Pangolin. Perigee Beckoner. Cryogen Relic. Radiant Strike. Red Tiger Mechan. Another Bygone Colossus. Ooh, they wanted me to play two of those in a draft like that. Come on now. Or pre-con. Full Bore. Mechan, or not pre-con, pre-release. Mechan Navigator. Cut Propulsion. Oh, we got another full art here. Mythic Quantum Riddler. In the extended art. I gotta look that up. I'm not sure what that's worth, but that's pretty cool looking. I like that art. Yeah, the more I look at that, that art is cool as hell. Got a closer look. Yeah, that's pretty cool art. And our foil is going to be a station monitor for the base planes. Quantum Riddler. There's a 5 cost though. 2, 3. Another Pangolin. Another Beckoner. Ilvois Operative. Exosuit Savior. Fungal Colossus. Drill 2 Deep. Lost in Space. Galvanizing Sawship. Monoist Circuit Feeder. The Dawn Strike Vanguard. Scour for Scrap. Beyond the Quiet. Board wipe. I have to completely rethink what I would have built. And our foil is going to be a cryologist. Would the path go white blue? And both of those are really expensive though. 5 cost. Although I guess in this format 5 cost isn't really too bad if you see all your big game changing cards and whatnot. Orbital Plunge. Embrace Oblivion. A Gale Blade. Luminary. Stinger. Landseeker. Caller. Melt Strider's Resolve. The Faller's Faithful. Station Monitor. See if we can pull that in front of me. Reroute Systems. Rare. Gonna be Caveron. Memorial World. Yo, this one had 2 mythics in it. How about that? Huh. Very interesting. The Blooming Stinger in the foil. And another regular one. Alright, so I'm going to pause it here real quick. I'm going to go through, sort out these 2 stacks here, build some kind of deck with them, and I'll let you guys see what I create. So, Green Blue Land, the Thrumming Hive Pool. Obviously, I'm not playing that because I don't have any slivers. Although, it gives you slivers. And they all have double strike and haste. Oh god. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't play it. No, I wouldn't play it in a pre-release event. No, I wouldn't. Maybe I would. I wouldn't. No, stop. All right, I'll be right back. I'm not even gonna lie. I could almost do like a straight mono white with how powerful what is in here, honestly, in this kind of limited play. But I would probably pair it with something like red or black. I have something to go along with it, but man, there's some great stuff in there for this kind of limited play. Even blue's got some pretty decent stuff going on in there. A lot of cantrips, a couple of counter spells, nothing too super powerful or anything. And obviously, I mean, the Sphinx isn't, for a mythic, it's probably like a $1 mythic, but it does some cool stuff, particularly with the warp factor, because you can drop it in for 2 for a turn, get your card draw, and at the end of the turn it just exiles, and it's 5. You can cast it a couple turns down later or whatever and bring it back and get another cantrip with it. And then you have a 4/6 flyer. And it gives you the bonus draw when you have 1 or less cards in hand. So, I mean, that's kind of nice. So the red was a little bit on the weak side, particularly with creatures and whatnot. But I think when paired with one of the other colors, this should be a nice complementary, but couldn't possibly build directly around it. Just kind of weak compared to the first 2 that we looked at. So green has 3 spells and the rest is all creatures. Very heavy on the creatures. And I think comboed with something like white would have been a killer or lethal combo in here. Along with the fact that you got the Halia. Both of these are wanting to put counters on stuff. Combos with her great. Would have been a really wicked setup. I think that's probably what I would have gone with. I'm going to check out what we got in black here real quick and see how that goes. But I think I would have gone white-green. Yeah, so black is a little bit rough. There's not a whole lot that's great in here, honestly, but it does have some bigs that, particularly with the warp cost, And when this one comes in, it does some pretty decent stuff. But for the most part, I don't think I'd be using black at all in this limited play. So I'm gonna whip together my deck real quick, and obviously sans lands and whatnot. Out of the stuff that's going in, we got the All Faith Scroll. Absolutely, I'm playing that for sure. I don't know about the Thaumaton Torpedo, but I would probably play one Bygone Colossus just to bring it in, and then warp it away. Drop it at the end of the game some point. Oh yeah, I forgot about this guy. Bloop. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna put something together here real quick, and I'll be back in just a moment. So this is what I think I've come up with. I paired white with green, and of course we got the All Fate Scroll, Beyond the Quiet, board wipe. Gotta throw that in. But white has some really interesting spells here. The reroute systems is pretty decent. I mean, 2 damage to a tapped creature for 1 white at instant speed, so you do it, you know. I mean, nice little opening hand there, right? The Indestructible is not bad, but I'd probably use it for creature removal in the early game. Honor is great, +1/+1 counter and a cantrip for 1 white. That's powerful. Banishing Light, this one's an oldie but a goldie. Creature removal, I mean, target non-land permanent. So, creature removal, enchantment removal. Fun little white power control there. The Zealous Display, this could be a game changer. And at some point, you know, if your opponent's attacking, you're all tapped out, you have no blockers. Boom, Zealous Display. It's a great little sneaky card for if you need it, you know. And then Radiant Strike, I'm kind of torn on this one, but I'm throwing it in. It's a 4 cost with you know, removal and life gain for 4. It's not bad. In limited format, I think I could pull it off without any real difficulty. And then green, we only had 3 spells out of the green. We went with the Melt Strider Resolve, and then a pair of the Diplomatic Relations. I love fighting cards and making your opponent's creatures basically get punched in the face. It's fun. I like it. Red and green do a bunch of that, where they make creatures fight each other. And this one it's a sucker punch. It's great. We pulled a pair of Halias. We got the Ascendant Cadet and Guided by Light. And in the white-green combo, I'm running both. They're great. Good synergy between. Whenever she enters or attacks, you get +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And whenever one or more creatures you control with counters on them deal combat damage, draw a card. That's great. Another good one, life gain and the warp ability is great, especially for early game. Alright, so like you warp it in early on, you get the nice 1 life, and then she pops away until you get a couple more mana and you can bring her back and you get another life. So I like playing, I would play both of them, and she's a 3/3 in both instances. I would play her in both. Not too worried about her cost on that one. Green, lots of mana in green, you know. Although with our creatures here, and you'll see in a second, we didn't really do a whole lot of mana creatures, but we did get an edge rover, so that's, you know, a little bit of mana fixing there. White had some good creatures, especially for late game. They're not terribly overpriced as far as cost goes, but they do some good stuff. And this one, with the warp feature, you bring him in, you get an extra creature, and then he disappears for a couple of turns till you bring him back. The Lux Knight Breacher enters with a +1/+1 for each other creature or artifact you control. So, not only do we have creatures, but we have artifacts. And the dock workers in this format are great, especially with the starport security. I mean, they're all 1/1s, but the dock workers enter with 1/1s on them, and when they die, they transfer those 1/1s. And then the starport security, cheap little icy manipulator. You know, if you have creatures with a +1/+1 on it, right? It only costs 2. So nice little creature and artifact, plus fun little things going on with 1/1 counters there, you know. The Exosuit Savior. When this creature enters, return up to one other target permanent you control to its owner's hand. Right? Lots of things you can do with him as far as bouncing creatures in and out that do things when they enter. You know what I mean? The Edge Rover, obviously, when it dies, it gets you a lander token. Right? That's a little mana fixing if you need it. When you're playing more than one color, if you're playing green, Edge Rovers in there probably aren't a bad thing to have. Thawbringer, it's a cheap, relatively cheap 4/2 for 3 that gives you a Surveil. So I like that idea in this format. The Blooming Stingers, I'm actually throwing 2 of them in there because they're cheap creatures, right? They're 2/2s for 2 that have Death Touch and give your other creatures Death Touch, you know? And the Intrepid Tenderfoot, I mean, you drop it on the field, nobody's paying attention, you've got a bunch of mana, and you just pump this dude up. You can do it as many times as you want in a single turn, you know? It's as a sorcery. So you could pump him up big time, give him tons of +1/+1 counters. The Germinating Worm, mostly because of the warp. Drop it in for 2, you gain 2 life. Bring it back later on, you gain 2 more life, plus you have a 5/5. I kind of like that. The warp is a nice fun factor there. And then the Fungal Colossus. This one was kind of a tough choice. With the X-less based on different lands you have, I mean, you really don't have many different lands in this format, and we didn't really draw too many lands. We had that red planet, and then we had the breeding pool, so that's a different land name, right? But we really didn't get too many other different lands. I mean, obviously, with the Fungal Colossus, you can, you know, you're playing 2 color. You can throw in some extra, you know, throw in an island and a mountain and a swamp in there, just to have the other lands, so as you draw them out, it cheapens the cost of that. But we only drew the one, was it breeding pool? Yeah, breeding pool. So we didn't have any other lands besides that planet. But that's what I would have built out of the Edge of Eternities box. Now, as far as the other side, so far, I like blue as potential for this deck. The blue and black combo, I thought about it for a minute, but the creatures that are available between the two are just way too expensive and not productive enough. So I couldn't use them together. But the blue, dude, there's so much control in this deck, it's not even funny. But I'm probably going to pair blue with like blue and red, or blue and green, or blue and white. I don't know how to decide yet, but we'll see here in just a second. Alright, so I went green-blue. And green has just a ton of great functional creatures that do lots of good stuff. Blue, tons of control. I mean, Paraspectral Interference, 3 flood the engines. Like, let me just lock down 3 of your creatures. You know, a stall out. I mean, total control in blue. Yeah, I'd run blue-green in that Aetherdrift box. We got some creatures in there, we got some vehicles in there. I love the Viola Art Bike. When it enters, gain 2, and it gives you mana. Sure, why not? That's perfect, right? So that's what I would run if I had played this box at an event. I'd have been running blue-green. Plenty of creatures, plenty of control. And then, of course, white-green. if I had been playing Edge of Eternities. So that's what I would have done with my pre-release boxes. Still, very, very happy I pulled that Throbbing Hypo. That is such a good card. Going in my sliver deck. So, there we go, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's what I would have built if I had played those at an event. Let me know what you think in the comments. Oh, this video took a long time to make. My goodness, it's late. Thank you so much for stopping by, everybody. I'm going to the game. We'll see you guys there. Until next time, y'all take care.